3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it's me, the Einstein of Wall Street. We are here with Trade Like Einstein. I am Peter Tuchman, and we're here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange in the balcony. History is made in this building every single day. Somebody with my long-term experience, I've been here for 137 years. It is my responsibility to help teach you how to navigate this market successfully. Boom! And hey everybody, it's me, the Einstein of Wall Street, from the balcony at the New York Stock Exchange. This is Trade Like Einstein. Today we're going to be doing something that's fortunately actually never been done before. I'm going to introduce you to Ela. Ela is a survivor of the most horrifying experience that's happened since the Holocaust in Israel, and she's going to share a little bit of her story. She's just come back from Israel. Obviously, everybody knows what happened on October 7th. In Israel, the attack by Hamas killed 1,400 Israelis, and I'm choked up just even talking about it. The attack on the Jewish people in terms of anti-Semitism that's just growing to a level that we've never seen before. The worst event that's ever happened since the Holocaust. I am a child of a survivor, of both survivors. Both my parents were in Auschwitz for 4 years, and so it's been a big part of my life. And obviously, the Jewish people in Israel are the closest thing to my heart. So I wanted to welcome you. I wish it could be under better circumstances, and just give me a little bit of background on what it was like and what brings you here to the United States.
I'm here to tell my story because I see these days that many people question what happened that day. Many people deny also what happened or justify it. I'm here to tell people what happened that day, really loud and clear from first-hand experience. Let people know these things happen. We must remember, not forget, and just let people see the truth.
Can you tell me what happened to the best of your ability from the beginning of the morning of October 7th?
I spent 11 and a half hours sitting in the dark, being completely silent and hearing.
So you were on a kibbutz, sorry to interrupt, you were on a kibbutz at the border. Okay, when the attack happened. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, my kibbutz is 2 miles away from the border.
Okay.
And October 7th, it was a Saturday morning. Between 340 to 400 terrorists invaded our kibbutz. They started breaking into people's houses, slaughtering people cruelly, burning people alive, raping women, cutting body parts off, torturing people, just doing the worst things possible.
And you saw this firsthand?
I saw the bodies.
You saw the bodies?
Yes.
Unbelievable. And so tell me, you spent 11 and a half hours in the dark. So you were hiding, right? Did they come into actually your home?
Yes, they did. They tried to break in about 5 times. They also tried to use mechanical tools on the door. Okay. I don't know why, but they did not break in. Okay. But my family got it harder than I did.
Okay. And tell me, can you discuss actually what happened to your family?
Both my grandparents were shot. My grandfather was shot in his leg, and my grandmother got hit by 2 bullets in her liver and one that hurt her elbow and back. Okay. After 9 hours of bleeding without any medical attention, she was taken to a hospital, to an urgent surgery, and survived.
Okay. Thank God.
My cousin was kidnapped and just exactly a week ago was released.
Thank you. Baruch Hashem. Yeah.
My father was murdered during the event. He was in another house, not with me. I found out 5 days about the massacre. When I was called to identify a body, I could not identify it. I'm his only child, and his parents and siblings are gone. But so I was supposed to probably recognize it since I'm a minor, and the body's condition was too graphic for me to see. I could not recognize it, but he died, and my uncle's house was burned down completely. Friends of mine have died. Everything is total chaos.
You know, it's look, and we've seen obviously. Look, so many questions come to mind just to what it was like to be, sitting there, first of all, alone, not knowing really what was going on, when suddenly your destiny, when your safety that you feel. I mean, I've been to Israel many times, and the level of, first of all, being a Jew in Israel is the greatest feeling in the world. Yes. And the safety to be amongst your own people is a feeling that's unmatched, right? You don't feel it anywhere as a Jew around the world, unfortunately, even more now than ever before. So that safety being broken obviously rocked your spirit to its core. I mean, you've lived now for how many, 60 days since then? Thank God your cousin was released. Have you seen, it's her?
I haven't seen him.
It's him? Okay.
Yet. I talked to him on FaceTime.
Okay. Was there a funeral for your father? Or any of these things happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kibbutz was completely destroyed, or?
Most of it was. And now they're all staying in a hotel in the Dead Sea.
Okay.
I couldn't be there because of the environment, and
Of course.
it was too hard for me. So I'm staying basically when I'm in Israel at my uncle and aunt's house.
How old are you?
I'm 14.
Okay, so I grew up. Both my parents were in the Holocaust, and as a young child, my parents would, everybody who came out of the Holocaust dealt with the trauma, and it wasn't called PTSD back then. It was just called death trauma in a different way. Very many of the survivors were not able to communicate the story to their children, right? There's a whole syndrome of survivors who had to go through growing up with parents who had gone through this trauma. My parents were two different people. They took it upon themselves to share the horror of what they went through. They were in camps for 4 years. My mother lost 72 members of her family, and they were put up against Mengele, the death doctor, at the entrance to Auschwitz. So I grew up with that trauma, and it's affected my life. For my whole life, I've dealt with a lot of different issues off the fact that as a young person from the age of 6, I was shared with that trauma. And so I'm imparting on you as much strength as I can, because some of the harder part is going to come in the future as all of this. I mean, you're still in triage mode. You're still in the midst of the aggressive trauma. When are you going back to Israel?
In a week.
Okay. And so have you spoken to, I mean, obviously there were all the people that were killed and raped and abused at the concert. Did you know anybody who was at the concert?
The music festival?
At the music festival?
There were people I knew, but unfortunately they're no longer with us.
No survivors. Yeah.
No survivors that I know.
Yeah. So you're here in the States. You've come to tell your story, and it's a story, the world has risen up against anti-Semitism in a way, but unfortunately it feels to me that the powers that be on the anti-Semitic side are way more. That voice has become so much louder than I would have thought would ever happen. And I'm sure you're feeling that too, as you said when you started this, that you need to tell this story, that it never again can happen. Yet we said that for the last 50 years since the Holocaust, and it did happen again, right? And to see yesterday, there was the United States Congress. They had 4 of the presidents of the largest universities in America who were asked if that the proclamation that all Jews should be killed in the Intifada, is that hate speech? And they were not able to answer the question yes or no. So for me, first of all, I'm honored to have you here, and I'm so glad we got to talk. But for me to see that, and for you as an Israeli, as a Jew, are you seeing that, and are you feeling it? And what does that feel like? I mean, it's a devastating feeling for me. But obviously, an Israeli having gone through this, it's got to be devastating.
I'm honestly just shocked by the amount of hatred people have. People are blinded by hatred, and it's sad because these are people who do not care for Palestinians' innocent life more than they hate the Israelis' life.
Right.
And that's what makes me so sad, that people just hate me. They don't like, it's not necessarily that they love the other side and want to help them. It's just they hate us.
Right.
Many of them are just like that. And it's crazy that I was taught since I was like 1 year old, I was taught that my house is my palace, like my safe place.
Yeah.
Like nothing can happen to me. And now I'm hearing about friends of mine who were raped and shot in their house.
Yeah. You know what also is so devastating too is that, look, we've dealt with, I think the world over the last number of years is at some level where there's so much hatred has been rising. This happened to come at a time, it couldn't have been at a worse time. And also the fact that the attacks on women, right? The rapes on women, the stories, the detailed stories about this. Look, we have a women's movement in America. There's everything that we talk about on a daily basis about safety of women in the workplace, in schools, in universities and whatnot. And it hasn't been addressed 60 days since a story where thousands of women who were killed and thousands of women were raped and physically abused. And no one is standing up against that is absolutely devastating. And
Yes.
You as a young woman, that must be just...
It is, and I obviously criticize the women organizations who work for women. There are women who are kidnapped in the Gaza Strip. Women came back from captivity reporting about being raped and being tortured, and everyone knows the women get it harder in captivity. And there are many reports of women who weren't even taken hostage who were raped or
Yeah.
tortured. And they took advantage of the fact of them being women. Now, I don't think any woman in the world, and by the way, we're talking about innocent women. We're not talking
Innocent
about
women.
prisoners. or
Exactly.
anything. Innocent women, people invaded into their homes, took their privacy, and took their innocence away in a matter of minutes. And the world is silent. And I think women everywhere should stand up for these women who had to go through it because they didn't do anything but be Jews.
Correct.
And it makes you, in my opinion, it makes you such a hypocrite if you think it's okay for women who are Jews and Israelis to go through anything like this. By the way, in women in general, they kidnapped a Muslim woman. They don't care if you're Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. And I think in that matter, women, we need to stand up for each other, no matter what our religion is.
Correct. The million woman mark. It's unbelievable how suddenly it became convenient to not talk about what happened about women here. I mean, as one of the biggest highlights of the experience, how women really stand out to the fact that the abuse was so devastating to them.
Yes, and I see people saying, comments like this, literally like this. I'm usually against raping. When they're Israelis, it's something else. I've seen comments like this. It makes me crazy. First of all, like I said, if you say it, not you, I mean in general, if anyone says it, you're such a hypocrite.
Right.
And also, it tells about you that you're such a bad person if you don't care about an innocent human being just because she was born the way she was born.
Yeah.
And that's also racism, but people don't like to see the truth, and people like to hide behind the screen and the comfortable lies. So.
Yeah. We also saw that Congress passed, finally, I mean, people are starting to wake up, but the level of hatred that you see in the streets, I take the subway home from work, and I actually, look, I'm the little funny looking Jewish guy who's on the subway who, if suddenly a bunch of people want to attack somebody, I'm going to be that guy, right? So I even feel completely not safe as a Jew in the United States and as young students here in the United States and all over the world. So I'm really grateful you got to tell the story. The story needs to be told. People need to know that we are not going to cower to the anti-Semitism that's happening globally, that suddenly the hatred that everybody's showing us needs to be really separated and identified for what it is, right? The 1,400 people who were killed on that day were innocent people. These weren't terrorists. These weren't soldiers. They were innocent people. And everybody also needs to realize that the biggest danger against Palestinians is Hamas, and it's not Israel for sure.
Yeah. And also, we go back to the beginning when I said they hate Israelis' life more than they love Palestinians. Yeah. So we're there again.
Anyway, I'm so glad we got to talk. Never again, right? Thanks for coming. Bye. Thank you.